Okay, so the goal of the open house today is to walk you through basically everything that I do in the mornings. And the first thing that I do before I look to enter trades is I take a top-down approach. And so I'll go to my daily time frame and I'll see basically what's happening, what's the story telling us. And so the last couple of weeks, we've talked about the support zones. So these are support zones on the daily chart where they basically came in, bounced, took some liquidity, bounced, dropped even further, broke through this support, came into this level, bounced dramatically, and then finally broke through. So now this was the next level of where the market wanted to go, and it's now actually broken through this level. So what are we looking at next? And if we go to this area on the daily, you can see there's another area of support, so definitely a little bit bigger than this last one. So let's look at this. That's the area. So that gives us just a little bit more context of what's happening in the long term. And these key levels are absolutely crucial, these support zones. So then what I like to do is I like to go down to the hourly. And this line's been on our chart for a long time now. And basically just a trend line of if it comes up to this level, does it fail? And pretty much that's exactly what it's been doing, and it will fall into these support zones. So then what I like to do is I will go to a 15-minute chart, and this is where I actually mark like key levels like this. So today we're using Trade-A-Bait. So I'm just going to draw a little rectangle. So I'm looking at the previous highs and then the previous lows. Now this is a resistance level now because it was support and it broke through. And now it's a resistance level. So if we are able to break above this, I think we can target this 20,000 level. Then our next low is, I think if we break this 874, we can come down and grab 13 points. If it breaks that, we're going to see a lot lower. We'll probably tag this 17,765 level, which is down, roughly down. Oops, still got my triangle on, which would be down here, right? So if you were selling, then you could place a buy order here. So when I draw let's just erase this really quick, hide the drawings. So you can use a line. I'm just going to use a box for this just to make sure that you guys can see this. So we're looking at 40 as the level, the kind of the line in the sand. And then the next level is, oh man, these boxes are great. And the next level would be here. Okay, so that's at 74. So we're looking for it to break through there to tag this last low and then to see more downside. And so I execute on the 5-minute chart. So that's how I draw my lines in the morning. Then I love to look at this chart here and see where are my moving averages. I get a lot of questions on the moving averages and want to make sure that you guys are clear. So I'm going to show you just my settings here. So I have an 8, a 21, and a 200. And this is a moving average exponential. So there's simple, and then there's exponential. I like this because I think it gives you more exact data and it's a little bit faster. So what I like to see in my setups for an A+ setup is the moving average is being stacked. That can be to the upside or the downside. So in this case, we've been just trending down, and the 8 is below the 21, 21 is below the 200, which is great. The one thing that we are missing, but we do have a small one on the 1 minute, is this thing called the squeeze. So the squeeze basically means that there's a bunch of energy that's building up, and then when you see the momentum bars change direction, so from yellow to red in this example, then you see it fire, which turns into a green line, or a green dot, which means that we get a bigger than expected move. So here it fires, boom, we break this key level at 52, and then we go down almost 100 points, right? So that's how you can expect these bigger moves. Range breakouts already kind of give you bigger moves because you have stop losses down here, you hunt the stop losses, and then you get a big move, and then it can retrace like it's doing here, and then you look for more downside. So that's what we're going to be looking for today. Again, I'm just trading one contract in the 50K challenge because I think it's great to start out, and I think a lot of people want to understand risk management. To understand risk management, I think it's best to start with one contract because then you're not overly emotional if you're trading like 10 contracts. Okay, I can change these over here too. Then you're not trading 10 contracts, and then you have a move that's 1 point and you lose, a couple $100, and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? I was supposed to risk $500 and I lost $500 by the market moving 2 points. Well, the market's going to move 2 points. The market will move. Let's see, even just in this candle alone, this is 905. I mean, that's 15 points in a candle alone, right? So you want to be able to trade and not have your, wow, should have been looking at the chat, guys. I'm so sorry that the microphone was off. Okay, I'm going to go through this again. We got 5 minutes. This will be perfect. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so how I look at the charts every single morning is a top-down approach. And so in this open house, what I want you guys to see is like my whole approach to the markets. And I do this on Sundays where I'll go through the top-down just to look at the dailies. And then so every day I can just kind of hop into the hourly chart and work from there. So in the daily, what I like to do is I like to go and look at different support levels that may be important for our overall narrative in our day trading. And these support levels we drew, hopefully you can see, based off of these previous daily lows. And they were respected pretty well until they weren't. So you could see it would come in and then it would bounce up, right? Come in, this one actually blew through the support and tagged this next level support zone, but then it retraced and it closed above. Okay, so it was kind of looking like, all right, buyers are, at least for the meantime, trying to hold off the sellers. And then the sellers finally take control, and it busts through this zone, and it tags another support zone, right? It does come up a little bit. It's like, okay, this could be support. This looks like it's going to blow through. It does. You can catch some mean points, and then at the end of the day, it closes, right? So we have that little like doji looking candle. Now today, and over the overnight session, sellers are in control, and it comes through both of these zones. And this new zone, this third zone that I just drew, is one based off of this. Now it can definitely be larger if you want, but I just did it based off of this last candle here. And it looks like it is going to be lower, which this 18, 19 level could be a great little target. So then I drop down into an hourly, and I want to see the trend. And this trend line that we drew over a week ago, maybe even 2 weeks now, has been respected super, super well. Anytime it comes up into this, it's failed. And it'll come back into these zones. And this is why I also love to look at the higher time frame. First is we had this squeeze here, right? And now we have 3 bars of a squeeze firing short. And I like to look at a squeeze to keep going short for about 6 to 7 bars. So that means we have another 3 to 4 hours of shorts, potentially. Okay? Let's see if there's a squeeze on the 15-minute. There's not, but this is kind of what I like to look at for my levels. And so when we go here, since I already drew these, but this 1938, 1940, and then we're looking at about 1875 on the short side. So I'll just look at that 15-minute range that it's created, and now we want to make our decisions whether we're going to go short or long. And then let's drop back down into the 5-minute. So this is when we talk about an A+ setup. When I make my entries on my 5-minute, what I want to see are, obviously we have our key levels now. I want to see the moving averages stacked, either above or below, but in this case, we're in a downtrend, so we want them stacked to the downside. So the 8 is below the 21, 21 is below the 200, okay? And these are the settings. I have the exponential moving averages, which I like better. I think they're a little bit better than the simple, a little bit faster. The next thing we like to look for is the squeeze. Now, I mentioned that there's a squeeze on the 1-minute time, or excuse me, the 1 hour, which helps us kind of give an idea of, okay, there's definitely some momentum going to the downside. I would love to see a squeeze on the 5-minute chart, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's an A+ setup, but I would give it probably a B+. If it breaks these key levels, honestly, it doesn't really matter what the squeeze is doing, because it's going to run these stop losses, and we're going to trigger something a lot lower. Now, if you want to, and you probably see these on my charts, we'll just do some Fibonacci's here. So this already hit this target. That was a smaller move. But we were talking about this larger 765 move. And we're coming right to the 718, or 786, I mean. And we've got, okay. This has, fantastic. Okay, so it's breaking our level here. Nice. Let's see if it can retrace a little bit. If we're to come back into 70. Okay, I'm going to go short at 71. And then I have, so you can come up here. We want 25-point stop loss. So what we're looking is for this low to get taken out, this 65 level. So then if you want to target a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, you're going to move, you're going to put a take profit down here, move it 25 points. Dang. That would have been awesome. Shoot, it was a little too slow. Okay, stop was filled. That's unfortunate. I was too slow on putting my take profit in. But okay, I think there's another good opportunity to short here. Come into the moving average. Okay, I'm going to short at 81. So that we essentially just got our stop ran, which is not what we like to see. So you can have your take profit here, or let's say you want to target something lower, and then you can do this. So what I like to do is put a stop loss now in profit here. And so this way, so now we're up $800, $900, almost 1,000 now. Boom, and take profit was hit. Okay, that was a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. It was unfortunate. Let's close this real quick. That was pretty unfortunate that our stop loss got hit. 25 points. Dang, would have been better just to be patient and wait. But so we were 1 loss, 1 win. It did exactly what we wanted to do. Just our timing was a little bit off. I wish I would have been a little bit more patient. A little bit more, excuse me, a little bit more patient with that. But even though we lost $500 on our first trade, we were able to grab a little bit, so $1,200. Yeah, grabbed $1,200 on the second trade. So we made $700 today just on one single contract. Obviously not ideal that we took that L to start. I would have loved to just been up $1,200. But as you can see, like, this is what happens once a key level breaks, and then you get that flush, those stop losses that get ran. We're going to see even more downside. Now that hit pretty quick. I was actually hoping to show you guys like the stop loss where I just drag it down instead of having a take profit in place. But having a target of a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio is also a phenomenal way to just take profit, because you hate to see this, bounce down here and then it just bounces off this level. So I like to do 1 trade a day, 1 to 2 trades. And so I don't know if we'll get another one, because that was pretty quick, and that was 5 minutes into the day, and we already have $700 in profit on 1 contract, which is pretty awesome. If you're still in it, totally fine. Like what I would do. So this is what I would do if you're still in it. So if we were short, right? I would just keep moving my stop loss down so that I'm in profit and I'm not giving back too much of the trade. So at this point, you'd probably be up about $1,500, and which is awesome. And so I would not want to give that up. And so this looks like it might bounce. So actually, let's look at a bounce into 843, even 60. I mean, 67 or 60 would be amazing if we bounced up in there. But we might pause at this 8 a.m. to 1. Okay, so it's bouncing up 61, 61. So let's put a limit order in 858. So limit order 858. I'm gonna do a buy order at 39. Come down. Boom. Okay, so there's another $300. That was just a quick little scalp. 58 to 39, almost 20 points that we were able to just grab right there. Now, why did I do that? Well, that 58 was the previous, like it just came up there, tagged that. And then I just wanted to get a quick scalp off that. And so when it comes into that moving average, that's when I know that there's a potential for a downside move. Now, I could have stayed in that trade, but I think making $1,000 on the day and being 6 minutes into the market is pretty damn good. Pretty good, pretty quick. And I'll be happy with that every day. So if we win 2 trades, lose 1, I'll say that was my bad. That was a mistake that I got in too early. I was not patient. Should have waited for the retracement. But as you can see, I'm not perfect. And you're going to see some losses as well. But this is how with one contract, we lost $500, and then we won 2 trades after that and made $1,500 more and made $1,000. $1,000 in a day in 3 days. If we keep this up in 3 days, we're going to pass the challenge, right? The goal is $3,000, and we're a third of the way there. And from my perspective, I don't know about you guys, did we take some trades today? I would like to see. The screen looks blurry. Yeah, I have. I mean, it's a little bit bigger. Like normally I'm not recording my charts plus the execution platform, but I did record this, like I'm recording this to put it on YouTube as a recap. And so the picture should look a lot better. Should be a lot more crisp. And so you can rewatch that as well. So I do 2 trades. Well, I've done 3 trades today, right? One was a loss, a 25-point loss, $500. The next was a $1,200 win, and then the one after that was a $300 quick scalp. So 2 wins on the day, 1 loss, total of $1,000 in profit for our combine. Okay, awesome. You were in shorts before. Nice, Suki. Cool, Burr. Awesome, it was helpful. Okay, cool. You need $869 more to pass. Perfect. So this is obviously up to you to do this, but if I get some wins, right? And I hate comparing trading to gambling, but if you think of like gambling and you win a couple, right? What they tell you to do is get out, right? Because the more opportunities that you put money down, the more chances you have to lose. The same thing, I think, with trading is because we took our setup, we executed our setup, we won, and now it's like, okay, now I'm going to try to make some more money to win versus like, okay, what's my process? What's the setup? So when you start just like money hunting, I think that's when you get into trouble. Now, I'm not saying that you're doing this, but what I like to do is if we have $800 more go to pass the challenge, I'll just wait for tomorrow. Even if you've already traded your required days, whether it's 2, 5, 7 in the challenge, and it's going to be, day 6 or day 8, I'll wait till the next day because I want to make sure that I have the highest quality and best opportunity to make that $800. And so I will wait for the next day. So yeah, it takes a little bit of patience, but that's what I like to do because I've been there where I was like, man, all I need is $200 more. And I made a mistake where I went in when I shouldn't have, and it was not a good opportunity, and it looked like my setup, but it was a different, the time and when you're entering the market changes and changes the price action. And so I ended up losing that. So, okay, cool. You agree and you're practicing discipline. Awesome. And not having FOMO. Yeah. Yeah, no, seriously, the FOMO, it can be real, especially when you're that close to passing. So I think this was a good session. It was super quick. I hope you guys can see my strategy, and I hope walking through what I do each morning as far as like understanding the zones, understanding the top-down analysis gives you a pretty nice picture. And then just executing the strategy. So waiting for that key level to break. It's something I'll be journaling today of being more patient, of letting it break, letting it come retest this 21 moving average on the 5-minute chart, which is what it did. Gave us a killer entry at 96. We ended up entering it, I think it was 88. Okay, let's see. What does it say? 81. Okay, it was at 81 that we entered. And then got out at 20, so 60 points. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, 96. See, how hilarious is that? 96, our stop loss. If we were up one more point, we wouldn't have got stopped. But our 25 points, that 500, was like to the dang tick almost of the stop loss getting ran. So that's unfortunate. But hey, it's again a lesson learned on my part. But we were able to ultimately end the day in profit. So I'm not going to dwell on that loss. It's just something I'm going to journal and note so that we don't make that mistake again. And then our second trade which was a sniper entry, that went right to 58 and then dropped right into our target. So can't complain about that too. Two wins that were fairly stress-free. The fact that we can get 20 to 60 points in a minute or less is freaking insane to me. Trading is a different world. This is the other thing that I actually got told this. This was a mentor that told me this. And I even went to, and I had two people tell me this. I had it's kind of like a therapist. It's called NET. It stands for like neuro-emotional like trauma. Basically, it's like muscle testing. And she's actually been kind of like a therapist type to people who have been traders and to who have actually been like high stakes gamblers. And one of the things that she said in the trading world is working harder isn't always the best thing. Like especially for me, like growing up, it was like very like kind of like manual labor, and even when I was doing my marketing stuff, it's like, yeah, you want to work as hard as you possibly can to show your boss that you're doing good or produce as much content as you can. Well, if you make as many trades as you can, odds are not going to be in your favor. So working harder is not the best. Working smarter is. And so working smarter is, like we just talked about, taking your setups, taking your wins, and then saying, peace market, thanks for all you did this morning. I'm done for the day. And so that is a form of discipline. It's a form of building a habit. To build discipline, it starts with the habits. And I don't know if you guys are big podcast people. What was the second call? The second call was a short at 58 and a take profit at 39. So that was almost a 20-point win. But if you guys are a big Mel Robbins podcast people, she talks about discipline and habits, actually. And she has a really cool, I think it's a psychologist on, that talks about discipline. And that was honestly one of my favorite podcasts that I've ever listened to. And I'll see if I can find it and I'll post it in the chat. I'm a big podcast listener. But yeah, so that's what we did today. We took 3 trades. One was a big old L, $500 loss, which is okay. I'm actually glad that we got it, because then you're able to see how I manage my risk, and it didn't faze me. And that's probably just because I have experience looking at the screens and understanding my setup. Is like, okay, shoot, well, my stop loss was hit, but I still love the setup, and that's why we got in again, and it immediately worked for us. So just needed to practice a little bit more patience, and then we had our second trade, which was a win, which we're actually using. I'm gonna zoom in onto this 1 minute chart. So we saw it come up to 58 here. So 858, that is. So it came up, it started to kind of fall, then it opened up a new bar. We put a sell limit right on 58, and it dropped like almost immediately to 39. Now this is another sell opportunity that we could get in. We have a squeeze firing, and it looks like it's going to come down because it came back into that same little resistance zone, that 900 level. Yeah, look at that short. That's all right. Cool. I'm glad we're watching it, just so that we can say, hey, it's okay. There are so many opportunities in the market. You don't have to get every single one of them. You absolutely don't have to get every single one of them, but it was a valid setup once again. We're going to take our $1,000 and we're going to be happy with it, and we're going to trade again tomorrow, because I would hate to blow this test account and then start over again, because then that just means our one day that we worked kind of essentially went to waste. So we don't want to do that. It's bad for the psyche too. So now we have confidence in trusting our setup, trusting that we can make money, and we'll do the same thing over again. Now, not be the most sexy thing, but if you're in it for the thrill, then you're probably gambling. And I don't think you're going to be here very long. So I'm going to open it up for a few questions. So typically, and I think you guys have heard me, I'll trade for 15 minutes, 30 minutes max. I really don't like to be in the markets long, for the reasons that I've already mentioned. And yeah, it's just great to feel like you started your day off on a win. And now I go to work and I create content for different clients. And it's nice, honestly. People ask me a lot of times, like, are you going to become a full-time day trader? Like, I've tried it, and I've not had a job, and I feel like it gets me into more trouble than I should, because I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do with the rest of my day? Well, let's just look at the charts. And then I look at the charts, and then I get into some trades where when I have a job, obviously I'm not looking at my charts, and it gives me something kind of to distract myself. But I've also gotten a routine, like when I have like a day off or whatever, like I'm not looking at the charts. I'm hanging out with my girlfriend and her kids, and I go on a walk with my dogs. I do stuff outside. I go to the gym and I read and I work on side projects. So I do things to like keep me busy, so that I'm not tempted to look into the charts, and I'm not tempted to place another trade, because again, that's what gets you into trouble. And so even me just like having the charts open, like I normally don't have the charts or even the execution platform open. I'll have closed it already, just because this is just my perspective of like, if you have it open and it's there, like you're more tempted to do it. But if it's out of sight, out of mind, it's kind of like having a supplement. If you have your protein supplement in the pantry tucked away, are you going to be more likely to use it? Probably not. But if you have, like a supplement or a canned drink in the fridge, and the first thing you see is when you open it, you're like, oh, cool, there it is. And then you drink it or make your greens or whatever it is that you have. So out of sight, out of mind, especially for people who are beginners or maybe even struggling with the discipline of overtrading, getting into trades when you're not supposed to. Those are some really good things to do. Just close your computer, walk away, or I think you can even lock. Like I know in Top Step X, you can lock the charts, but Tradevate you can't. But I'm pretty sure you can. There's a setting on your browser. You can just like lock the website from ever being able to like access it for the rest of the day. Is one thing that you can do if that's something that you struggle with. But yeah, so pretty cool day that we were able to profit on our first 50K day. So tomorrow we're going to trade live, but it is going to be in the premium and live section. What that means is, if you guys want to continue this, if you want to trade live with me and continue to pass this 50K account, then let's hop on. You can also do signals. Today was special. I was just doing the open house and I was focused on you guys. but I'll do the signals, and then we'll also trade live just like we did today. So if that's something that you want to continue to do, you can just hop in on that and grab it. And I'm thinking of I want to do something a little bit different, of like some kind of coaching call or like some kind of reward for people who subscribe to this. So I haven't really thought of it, but I'll post it when I get some more clarity. But yeah, if you want to trade tomorrow with us live, hop on this live, post alerts. You get alerts as well as the live trading. Again, today was just a very specific case where we did this open house, and so you guys could see what the live session is like, and if it's something that's interesting to you, if you want to make a quick, easy $1,000, $500 to $1,000 every day, yeah, join us live. All right, so I think we'll call it there. And thanks you guys for hopping on. And we'll see you tomorrow. It's time to make some more money. We'll do it in the easiest, stress-free way. I love when people like in the chat ask about like the win rate and stuff like that. How I do risk to reward. Like it's so funny. I feel like sometimes people complicate it. It really does not have to be hard at all. Take what the market gives you. Be happy with it, because you cannot force it. Oh baby, look at that retracement, that drop. Setup has been valid all morning. That's awesome. Well, if you guys made some profits, post it in the profit channel. I'd love to see what you guys did, and then we can also celebrate you. The community loves to celebrate our wins. So even if you are on a combine and not in a funded account or in a test account, post it. Like that's killer, because you're just one step closer to passing and getting that funded account. So let's celebrate you. All right, guys, I will see you in the chat, and I will also, for people who are on live, I will see you tomorrow in the live channel. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.